footage that nobody was supposed to see. We're talking black magic, secret rituals, and whispers that the entire Knowles Carter family might be involved.
I don't think we're supposed to see this. I lived on the dark side of TikTok all night, and what I found is going to disturb you. I don't know if you guys are going to be ready for this, but if you are, make sure you watch till the end of the video, because this is going to be life altering. And don't watch alone, because this is going to get terrifying. What's even scarier than the TikToks we're about to watch today is the fact that 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe for more scary videos. Thank you.
You need to watch this or you're going to regret it.
Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
You recognize? Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
And is that even legal to do in the state of Tennessee, to sell those with a vaccine in them?
You recognize? Well, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is there is no law deeming those that when you go into a grocery store, you should know as a consumer, this head of lettuce is a head of lettuce. The head of lettuce right next to it could contain a vaccine in it. All we're saying is if it does have the vaccine in it, make sure it's listed as a pharmaceutical so people can get the proper dosage.
My question is right now, can you walk into a grocery store and there be a head of lettuce for sale that has a vaccine in it? I don't think that's allowed under state law presently. And if it is, and you have to list it as a pharmaceutical, are we going to then have Walgreens pharmacists with a refrigerated section? I mean, how's this going to play out?
You recognize? Thank you. This is more of a consumer protection bill right here, is to make sure that if you're going in to buy tomatoes and there's a polio vaccine in there, that you are aware of what you're buying has a polio vaccine. The problem you have is if it's not treated as a pharmaceutical, being the size and difference between you and me, how many tomatoes do I have to eat to get the proper dosage versus how many tomatoes that you have to eat? And if you eat too many, do you get a overdose? If you eat too less, like we had in the cattle industry with aeromycin, we weren't dosing our cattle properly and the horn flies were developing an immunity to it. If we don't have the proper dosage of a vaccine, it could lead to the efficacy of that drug not work anymore.
Now, is it just me or did he totally dodge the question about whether or not this stuff is already in grocery stores? It seems to me that in the future, being able to grow your own food might just be essential. What do you guys think about this situation? I'd like to hear about your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, make sure to follow me for more, and God bless.
I genuinely can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself when I say I don't think we want lettuce induced with vaccines. They're like, oh, Sean, what's for dinner tonight? A black plague salad. Delicious. I'm so excited. Bro, what has this world come to?
Are house parties making a comeback? What you are seeing is footage of an insane Halloween party that got way out of hand and had to be shut down by police. Now, this happened in Woodland Hills, LA, and according to Royal News, who captured this footage, the host initially promoted this party online, selling tickets in advance for just $35, but then charged up to $150 for whoever wanted to pay at the door. But similar to the real Project X, way more people turned up than anticipated, and things quickly started getting out of control. Dozens of 911 calls started flooding in, reporting injuries from stampedes. A massive fight broke out, people were spilling out into the streets, and the LAPD's air support unit estimated over 3,000 people in that neighborhood alone. When police turned up, one teenager was discovered lying unconscious in the street and was rushed to hospital. Several others were treated for injuries that they sustained in the stampede. And you'd think that most people would condemn this kind of behavior, but 2025's been so rough that people were actually proud, saying things like the earth was healing because the kids are partying again, and that there was still hope for the next generation after all.
I mean, they let Diddy party slide, so you gotta let this slide.
Speaking of what Mr. Beast knows, he did this whole thing of like underground nuclear bunkers. Like, yeah. He went to the bunker that we've talked about when we were talking about the Denver airport.
Yeah. Oh, really?
You know that one that's in Colorado? In the mountains? He got access to it.
What is this guy into?
He's an asset at this point.
I think he is.
I mean, he wasn't allowed to film a lot. Like, they kept on saying, okay, you can't film this part.
How did you get that clearance?
That's what I'm saying.
They have to be contacting him. What did he say about the bunker?
You could literally drop the most powerful nuke on top of it, and it would not destroy it.
You know they have more, too.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have more.
They have a subway in there.
What?
I
That's
said,
even
could
better.
you imagine being a subway worker and you just have to go into this underground bunker every day?
Yeah.
What's comforting to know is that if our entire species suffers nuclear winter, Subway will live on.
Subway will be there.
That's weird to me that
That should be
Subway hasn't
conspiracy.
gone out of business. Like,
What if they are literally just keeping them afloat just because that's a restaurant in this bunker?
yeah, we can't get rid of them.
Like they're funding Subway.
They probably did that like 30 years ago and then Jared Fogle messed up. They're like, dang it, Jared!
Or maybe he found out something about the bunker and they blackmailed him.
Oh! Release Jared Fogle! No, we're not.
A bunch of like kids run in. We like block the intersection.
The video you just watched sparked one of the biggest celebrity theories ever. People say Avril Lavigne disappeared in 2003, and the person we see today is a lookalike named Melissa. Brace yourself, the proof is wild. Back in the early 2000s, Avril Lavigne was the definition of teenage rebellion. With songs like Complicated and Eskader Boy, she had the whole punk teen image. But after 2003, fans noticed something strange. She seemed softer, her music calmer, and her whole image more polished. That's when people started thinking something was off. The real Avril was gone. Some say depression, some say accident, and the label supposedly replaced her with a double named Melissa to keep the business running. It sounds insane, but fans claim there are clues hidden in her songs. In Nobody's Home, she sings Her World's Falling Apart, which many call her secret farewell. Then people started doing photo comparisons, and that made it worse. Old Avril had a sharper jawline and a tougher vibe, while the new Avril looks shorter, rounder, and honestly like a completely different person.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of years in between these comparisons, but still, certain features about you just don't change. They may look a little bit different, but they don't alter that bad. Obviously, this is a really crazy theory, but with Hollywood, things get crazy.
This is the terrifying Tower of Terror accident they don't want you to know about. I went to Disneyland this year, and if I'd known about this, I would never have let my brothers go on this ride. It was September 1998 at Disney World in Florida. And part of the Tower of Terror ride is that it's essentially a crazy lift shaft that like goes up an incredible height and then drops suddenly from the top. It opens, you can see the entire park, and then you're suddenly like jerking up and down. So guests are expecting kind of jerky drops and sudden free falls. Side note, interestingly, it was actually a company that manufactured real lifts that did make this ride. But on this particular occasion, 20 guests were strapped into the elevator car when all of a sudden all hell broke loose. They were expecting a scary ride, but they weren't expecting a terrifying malfunction. Suddenly, as the riders were in the air, the pulley mechanism broke. Bolts had essentially come loose and it had caused the cables to totally snap. The car started falling at a crazy speed before finally, thankfully, the emergency brakes kicked in. But by this point, 7 of the riders had been lunged forward and injured, and they were rushed to hospital. Thankfully, nobody died and serious injuries were avoided because of the shock absorbers at the bottom of the shaft. It goes without saying that the ride was temporarily closed while they figured out what the hell had happened here, and obviously they eventually fixed it and reopened it. Have any of you guys been brave enough to go on this ride? Because honestly, it looks like absolute hell to me.
Record, I'm literally showing everybody that this industry is fake, right? At that time, I exposed that Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber were using 6 credit cards to buy the #1. So in the last couple hours to the Billboard and Nielsen like accumulate the count for that week for who's #1, who's this. Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber used bots and you know bundles as like sweaters for their new single and made that like sales as what? Yeah, it's crazy. So I exposed this in 2020.
Yeah.
And now Drake, which is public, you could literally, any of your followers could just say, is 6ix9ine lying? Let me look this up. Drake sued Universal Music Group, right? UMG,
Yeah.
for botting Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. You know the song Not Like Us?
Yeah.
So
this animatronic has been sitting in this bathwater abandoned for over 11 years. Let's talk about it. This is the track for the dark ride that used to be for Brer Rabbit, which is what this ride was, and this is disgusting. It's in Wales in the UK, and all of the animatronics in here are rotting, and this one in particular that's submerged in this bath water that looks like chocolate milk is haunting my nightmares. Here's some other photos. This dude is sitting on the toilet for all of eternity. That must be embarrassing. God, there's something so off-putting about these. Apparently the only way into the ride, which urban exploration people use, do not do this, but you have to go through this like area in like the woods in the middle of nowhere to get to this. I think this is what bro looked like when he was functional, that because there's like the bubbles and all of this. But here's another photo of it abandoned. God, this is so creepy. I hate this. Watch this little urban exploration video that I saw and let me know what you're thinking. And what do you think about this ride? And does this scare you to know that this is somewhere in the middle of the dark, in the woods, just this animatronic sitting in water like this? This is gross.
I feel a lot better knowing that this is in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. I would love to be exploring one day and be like, oh, look, there's a nice cave to go into, and then witness this. If this was closer, I definitely would go visit it though. But, you know, maybe one day you guys let me know if you want me to go visit whatever is going on here.
Imagine diving and coming across a car that sank in the lake with the driver's body still inside. I cannot imagine doing this as my job, but this man is truly a hero. In 2021, a popular YouTube scuba diver named Jeremy Sides made this chilling discovery in Melton Hill Lake, Tennessee. Jeremy was well known for using his diving skills to help solve cold cases, and on this day in particular, he had been searching in Melton Hill Lake with a sonar device when he came across something strange. A car that had sank beneath the surface of the lake. When he realized what he had just discovered, he dove into the murky waters to the car, which was completely submerged with all of the windows still shut, and inside the car, at the driver's seat, were human remains. Once authorities arrived and pulled the car out, they then got to work to identify who these remains belonged to, and they soon found out that the person inside the vehicle was an 84-year-old woman named Miriam Ruth Hemphill. What's absolutely crazy about this is that Miriam had been missing since 2005. The thought of finding a human that's been submerged in water that long is absolutely horrifying. Miriam was reported to have last been seen driving her 1999 Buick, and since then there had been no sign of her or her car until Jeremy finally found her in 2021. There isn't any suspicion of foul play in Miriam's case. It's believed that she had just accidentally driven into the lake and was trapped inside of her car when it began filling up with water. But after 16 years, her family finally has closure.
This is the scariest thing that could happen to you on the entire earth. Imagine living your entire existence, your whole life, the people you meet, the family you build, the life you create, and then realizing that none of it existed. Well, that actually happened. And it's happened multiple times, and this is 100% true. Of course, we know the human mind is extremely clever. It can make up scenarios, it's mad. And lucid dreams, like I say, feel so real, like you're actually there, but of course you're not. So we know the human mind is capable of these things, but imagine that on a much larger scale. And maybe this is what happens when you go into a coma. So there's a very famous story which has been on Reddit loads and people have spoke about it, called the lamp story. I have made a video on it before, but I'm not going to go into the full details of it, but let me briefly summarise the story. So essentially, a young boy was at school, he got into a bit of a fight with a bully there and actually got knocked out. Nothing major happened, he then just carried on with the rest of his life, built a family, got his dream job, did everything he wanted. He was a very successful man in the end. He had his dream cars, he had his dream house, he had 2 kids, a beautiful wife, everything you could imagine. Now one night he was sitting on the sofa and the lamp in the corner of the room caught his attention for some reason. He noticed it just didn't look right, it just looked odd in the room. I don't know how to explain it. Almost not 3-dimensional, it was just weird. And for some reason he fixated on this for days, for weeks, for months, just constantly every night would sit there all night staring at this lamp trying to figure out what was happening with it. Eventually he realised it was almost blurry and he got even more confused, until one night when he had a sudden realisation that the lamp wasn't even there. The lamp never existed, and right that his life flashed before his eyes and he blacked out. He then woke up on the school playing field where he had been knocked out about 50 years ago, and it turned out none of that actually happened. He had dreamt and imagined the whole thing while he was unconscious on the floor after getting beaten up. So his whole life, his whole existence, his brain just imagined it all. None of it happened. And for the rest of his life, his actual life, he couldn't get the image of these imaginary kids out of his head. His imaginary wife, this life that he had built which never actually happened. Imagine the trauma you'd go through. I would never leave therapy.
This reminds me of those dreams when you go to sleep and it feels like that becomes your reality. Well, obviously you dream when you go to sleep. Wow, great one, Sean. You're so smart. Have you ever been so deep in a dream that when you wake up, you felt like that dream was actually your reality?
After watching this, I'm convinced the elite have tunnels everywhere.
Watch this, y'all.
This is the spot.
So by this big tree, there's a big old hole. And there's lights on. Like somebody's still paying the light bill. There's lights all down this tunnel. This is a sophisticated tunnel. Like, look at those stairs. It goes so deep down this place, y'all. Remember, this is underground. It just keeps going and going and going. But what he finds is insane. Now he gets like a door. What's behind the door? Fast forward a little bit, gets through the door, opens the door. Now there's some kind of room.
This gas station is proof the elite have fake towns and cities set up.
This might actually be a fake town / city set up by the elite. Why would there be cars parked at the gas pump and they have dust on them? So they've been there a while and nobody's around. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
We did it. We finally did it. Just stable. Look at the readings. Unbelievable.
I feel like the LeBron James thing on Kai's stream, they paid him to do that.
I think I brought something good in my bag.
What you got?
Got my LV bag with a little boo-boo.
Okay.
Which one? So he went on Kai's stream and it was like he emphasized that he had a Labubu on his Louis V bag. Oh, my little Louis V with my Labubu.
How much you think he got paid to bring the Labubu there? Bro, like one mention.
That's all he needed.
I think maybe 2 mil.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah. So I'm like a promo.
Yeah, there's got to be something deeper to this, whether he was paid or not, because LeBron is too old to be rocking this. Like, this is like the equivalent of LeBron having a Stanley Cup or like going to Starbucks.
Beyonce's former nanny just dropped footage that nobody was supposed to see. And y'all, it's dark. We're talking black magic, secret rituals, and whispers that the entire Knowles Carter family might be involved. This isn't just gossip anymore. Y'all, we need to talk about it. So Beyonce's nanny isn't holding back. According to her, she quit working for Queen Bey after discovering a demonic altar and witnessing occult rituals inside the home. As y'all already know, this isn't the first time someone close to Beyonce has made these claims. For years, whispers have followed her, and now we're seeing the truth unfold in real time. But let's rewind. Beyonce has faced accusations of witchcraft more than anyone in the industry, and many of those claims came from people who actually worked with her. One of them, Jaguar Wright, even boldly called Beyonce a witch. Kimberly Thompson, Beyonce's former backup drummer, accused her of extreme witchcraft. Not long after, Kim found herself mysteriously blackballed from the entire industry. For years, Tasha K has raised alarms about Beyonce allegedly being a certified witch. In a recent interview, a woman who identifies as a witch claimed that Beyonce is one of them.
Just a friendly reminder, the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, said this: "The world elite are not humans, but cold-blooded hybrids." I'll let you interpret that however you like. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
Do you want to be creeped out? Because here are 3 things that I really didn't want to know that makes me believe that the world is a stage and I don't believe anything anymore. Number 1, did you know that the US government and the CIA and other departments of the government are involved in Hollywood movies? And by looking at the movies, they were majority or a lot of big ones were about war. So why was the government so involved of making sure that Hollywood got it right or wrong based on history to make sure that they depict a certain kind of message about what happened or didn't happen in history? Do you know who Ghislaine Maxwell is? It's Jeffrey Epstein's partner in crime who's currently in jail. Do you know who her dad was? If you remember the McGraw textbooks, like in high school, his company joined with that company to help write the information in those textbooks. Was that to make sure that the history was documented correctly or incorrectly? And number 3, there appears to be a movie from 1998 called The Snake Eyes that seems to have predicted Charlie Kirk's assassination, because there's a politician in a crowd at a boxing match who was shot in the neck and was deceased, named Charles Kirkland, which already sounds super similar to Charlie Kirk. And which makes it even more weird is that there was a poster, and it happened September 10th. And the fighter was called the Executioner, named Tyler. And that's what the shooter's name was to Charlie Kirk. I didn't want to know, so you have to know too.
Jenna has been acting very mysterious lately. Why does she keep moving? Like, something's off with Jenna. Something, I just don't know, because she used to never act like this. Like, why is she moving so much? Something's up. She's been very mysterious lately. Don't you guys agree? I mean, come on. Come on, man. What is going on here? Something is going on, that's for sure. Because these look like two different people, even though they're not. Even though they're not. They look like two different people. And these two has been very close lately. Somebody had the nerve to say that they could be possibly dating. None of my business. You see it. Nah, I'm just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. You ain't seeing nothing but some pictures of celebrities just having a good time. But this is a big difference. I don't know, guys. You let me know what you think about Jenna. Is she the same or is she not? I'm out.
Marilyn Manson is finally getting exposed for all of the demonic works that he's done, okay? There's a woman who is going to give a testimony about some of the heinous things that she had to endure by Marilyn Manson. Not only her, but other people too. And not only that, you're going to hear out of Marilyn Manson's own mouth how he disrespects God and the Bible, and also how he's trying to effectively pursue the will of Satan in this world, okay? I do think that this is one of the most demonic people in the music industry, and after this video, you're going to see why, okay? Before we hop into this video, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm so that this video can reach more people like yourself. I truly appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and hop in.
Can we take a minute to talk about what's really going on with Marilyn Manson? Because behind all the makeup, theatrics, sold-out arenas is a decades-long pattern of exploitation and abuse, and he's still walking free. Remember Bianca Elaine Kine? In 1995, she was just 16 and invited onto his tour bus after a concert, but then she was laughed at and threatened with death if she ever spoke up. And it wasn't a one-off. He's been accused of targeting minors who trusted him at his shows. Then there were all those crew members, security guards, who say he hurled mic stands at them, forced their heads into his gyrating and even pled no contest to felony sexual conduct in 2001. Evan Rachel Wood, the famous actress, had the courage to testify before the California State Senate about the abuse she experienced, beatings, electric shocks with a violet wand, and the way he'd tie her up to prove her loyalty. That occurred while she was in a relationship with him from 2007 to 2010. And let's not forget Esme and Bianco's horror stories of being chased with an axe, starved, drugged, and tortured, or Ashley Walters being forced awake for 48 hours straight, whipped and shoved into walls. Every time a survivor stepped forward, Manson quietly settled or paid a fine. And he kept his stage lights on. So come on, this isn't just rock star drama.
This man is a monster. He's a complete monster, okay? And when you hear him talk, and you don't even have to be in the same room as him to see and to even feel the demonic presence that lives inside of him. It's real. But first, I want to show you guys this video of a woman who details exactly what took place between her and Marilyn Manson and how this affected her in her life, okay? This is crazy, but this lets us know that some of these people in the music industry are extremely, extremely demonic and evil, and they love to do this stuff. All right, let's check this out. Let's go ahead and hop in.
In 2021, you went public about the and abuse you endured by Brian.
What is wrong with these people? Like, you have all this money, you have all this popularity, you could do so many things with it, and this is what you choose to do?
Let's talk about Katy Perry. Here we see the classic one-eye symbolism. We also see it here, but instead of on her face, it's on her shirt. Here we see a look from the Met Gala, which is a whole different rabbit hole, but again, that eye is covered. Here we see her on her voyage to space, and of course the one eye is covered, and it's covered by a butterfly. As far as the butterfly goes, if you know, you know, but it ties into all these theories. This right here just happens to be the image or the emblem of when they went to space. Flip that image upside down as you see here, and it looks pretty similar to the Baphomet. Lastly, I found an interview from Katy Perry from a very long time ago. She, like many of the other celebrities we talk about every single day, started in the church, was raised in the church, and somewhere along the way started to embrace the dark side. She talks about it here. Roll it.
Almost 10 years ago. I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Of course, any of these theories are just for entertainment purposes only, but it really makes you think. Wake up.
Mimic was trying to lure this man in by imitating his phone. Listen. He's the only one home, and he has his phone in his hand. There's no other phones in the house. That creature, a mimic, was trying to lure him in by using a phone. This is the first time I've seen a mimic actually try to lure someone using technology by imitating the sound of his iPhone. They're definitely stepping their game up. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
This guy was live streaming from a chat roulette style app when he ran into a strange woman. At first, everything seemed totally normal. They exchanged greetings, listened to some music together, and she even asked him to play the song again. But when he tried to talk to her about something a little more real, he noticed that something was off.
السلام عليكم.
أهلين.
صوتك كذا من الله.
شغل خلنا نرقص شغل.
Her tone, her facial expressions, and the speed of her responses felt unnatural. The vibe shifted. Sensing that something wasn't right and wanting to check his suspicions, he put on a recording of a Quran recitation. The woman's face changed instantly. She looked startled, even flushed, and then she abruptly left the stream. Viewers flooded the comments, convinced they had just watched the guy encounter something supernatural. In their view, that's exactly why she acted so strangely when she heard the recitation.
I'm letting y'all know right now, do not let this Neo robot in your home. This junk costs $20,000, and this junk look creepy as hell. That's not even a part I'm talking about. You're spending $20,000 on this humanoid robot, and they said for the first year, it's gonna be controlled by a human. Because they said they wanted to function as much as a human as possible. Whatever that means. They said it's gonna take a whole year for this junk to function by itself. So within that whole year, it's gonna be a human in your home, looking at everything you do. And they said they're doing that because they want the chip inside the robot brain to pick up as many things as it can to see how humans really operate. And then it will be able to function by itself.
Why would you want a human control robot in your house to begin with? It's not that hard to wash the dishes, bro. It is really not. Just go wash them. You don't need, imagine you're sleeping and you wake up and there's a robot standing over you. He's like, you sleeping good? I would piece you up. You would be in the garbage tomorrow.
Roblox is now being sued by the state of Texas because they are claiming that Roblox put children in danger. The Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, announced yesterday that the state of Texas is officially suing Roblox. His lawsuit says that Roblox prioritizes money over safety of children and has allowed a ton of predators onto the game. Texas is seeking up to $10,000 per violation, which means they could get tens of millions of dollars from Roblox. In response to this, Roblox said that they are deeply committed to child safety on their game. They point to age verification scans, AI moderation, parental controls. and called Texas's lawsuit completely baseless.
We have only ourselves to blame for what's happening now. Most recently in Vancouver, sailors aboard a cargo ship captured something truly strange, a video that no one has been able to explain. Before I tell you the details, let's watch a short clip. This took place in the port of Vancouver in March 2025. So yes, just recently, what started as a normal work shift turned into what the crew later called the creepiest thing they've ever seen. At one point, a sailor standing on deck noticed something flying nearby. It looked like a tiny glowing figure, almost like a fairy made of light, but that wasn't the end. Soon more of these creatures started to appear. The sailor who filmed the encounter later said he felt an unbearable pressure, as if something invisible was pushing down on him. Considering everything that's been happening in our world over the past 2 or 3 years, maybe they're trying to tell us something. So what do you think this really was? Let me know in the comments. And for more videos like this, follow me before they stop us from posting the truth.
An actress goes on to We Need to Talk podcast and reveals some of the dark tactics that was used against her in Hollywood. And the crazy thing about this is that her testimony is extremely consistent with other testimonies that we've heard from different celebrities. Now, this is just confirmation of just how crazy Hollywood actually is, but it also expresses the fact that it takes more than skill and talent to make it in Hollywood. Okay, I want to show you guys this video. Let's hop into it, watch it, react to it. Before we do me a quick favor. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm so that this video can reach more people like yourself. I truly appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and hop in.
I'm in Hollywood, and the first thing somebody says to me when I get into Hollywood, I moved out and I sit on my brother's couch. I was homeless, sleeping on my brother's couch. And they said, are you into pornography? Immediately, those spirits could feed off of me and see it. And I was like, what? Like, do you want to be in porn? And I said, not for the world. At 18, I said, not for the world. He goes, not for the world. He was offended. He was scouting. I was on the train station at that time in Los Angeles. And he says, are you sure? There's a lot of money. A lot of girls would give up everything for less than the world. You don't want the world? And I said, nope. But just a few years later, I got on in an acting agency that started off with 2 women. They scouted me because I was always applying, right? To hustle in Hollywood, you got to apply. You're an artist, you know that. Yeah. You got to apply for this job. You got to be on this thing. You got to put your pictures up here. You got to submit. You got to submit the casting calls. Boom, 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 boom. I got cast in several small things on TV and modeling. Modeling really took off because it was just easier being tall and following in my mom's footsteps. She taught me how to do my makeup, how to do a runway walk. So I did a lot of runway shows, and I was scouted at a show. I was actually at a party by these ladies who told me, you're beautiful, you have the look, you have an exotic look. And they were women, so I felt more comfortable.
Gotcha.
And they said, well, come to the studio or come to our offices and we'll do a photo shoot to test it out. So I did a little test photo shoot, nothing crazy. I mean, I was in a bikini, but that was very standard. Mm-hmm. Pictures were great. We want to sign you. So I do print work. They send me on different jobs, normal jobs in Hollywood. I'm working, I'm getting money, I'm loving this. I'm going, oh my gosh, wow, finally the struggles a few years later. Now I'm about 19. Yeah, I'm about 19. And I end up in a party and the lady from the agency says, I want you to go talk to that producer.
For some reason, these parties seem to be the initiation areas in which Hollywood and people within Hollywood and in these industries try to employ these tactics. Think about Terry Crews, right? What happened to him and how someone tried to exploit him and they tried to initiate him, and it was at a party. They know what they're doing, and they listen to what she's about to say, because this is exactly how it happens. Listen to this.
He's going to like your look and go cozy up to him and make him feel like a man. You know what I mean? Just make him feel good. And I was like, okay. And this is a party at night in a warehouse. It's a fashion party. We just got done with the fashion show. And I don't remember what was said, but I went up and I started talking to him and, he gave me drinks. And before we know it, I'm tipsy and she tells me, I need you to sleep with him. And now I'm in deep and I'm tipsy and I trust her and I do it.
Is it true that microwave safe just means that the plastic won't melt in the microwave, but it's...
Do
never put plastic in a microwave. So here's the story. The BPA, phthalates, plasticizers are added to the plastic, but they're not chemically bound to it. Okay, so if you put anything in a container that has these chemicals in it, they will, and then put it in a hot environment, they will come out of the plastic and go into the food. So if you, in a microwave, or you put your bottle in the car and the sun comes in and it warms up the bottle and then the stuff goes into your water. You don't want to mix these chemicals and your food, but if you do, the worst thing is to do it in a heated environment.
Did you know some celebrities might not be who they seem? When a star becomes too powerful or steps out of line, the elites replace them with a clone, a perfect copy controlled from the shadows. Fans have noticed strange behavior. Stars forgetting their own songs, glitching on camera, or returning from scandals looking completely different. Whispers say the cloning happens in secret underground labs, hidden from the public, run by the same higher-ups who control politics, media, and culture. So next time your favorite celebrity slips up, ask yourself, are you really watching them or just their replacement?
Parents, you have got to listen to this. Cheerios have more Roundup weed killer in them than any other food on the planet. This, according to a group of scientists called the Environmental Working Group. Watch this video to the end. It gets even worse. This is going to blow you away, but it may actually help save your kids. So there's actually hundreds of foods that contain Roundup weed killer in them. The scientific name for it is glyphosate. It's a huge epidemic. It's in so many foods. It's in Oreos, it's in Cheez-Its, it's in Goldfish crackers, it's in almost all the bread that you're eating that you buy in the store. It's in all oat products, including Quaker oatmeal. Read the caption below. I'm going to give you a detailed description down there of what to watch out for. And make sure that before you get done watching this video, you go up and check out the link in my bio, because the GLP-1 rescue plan is the most amazing thing that you will ever find in your life that will completely transform you and your family's health.
Wow, this sounds absolutely delicious. Hey Sean, what do you want for breakfast? Oh, could I have some honey nut weed killer? I don't think the food we're consuming is supposed to be killing us. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of eating.
Dude, you may actually be owed money right now because Google just got slammed with a $425 million fine for tracking you even if you told them to stop tracking you. So this is the deal. A federal jury just ruled that Google has to pay nearly $500 million for invading people's privacy. This was not just a handful of accounts, by the way. This case covered almost 100 million different users over 174 million different devices. This is all coming down to that setting called web and app activity, which you probably know as the toggle that's supposed to stop Google from tracking you online. Millions of people have switched this setting off thinking that they were safe, but according to the jury, Google kept collecting your data anyways for 8 years. Dude, this is not just a small claim. The lawsuit originally pushed for $31 billion in damages. The jury obviously decided to not go that high, but they still smacked Google right in the face with $425 million. For Google's entire defense, they were claiming that the info was not personal, it was secure, and that their privacy tools gave users control. But obviously the jury is not buying it. Now Google is obviously trying to appeal it, which means that this case could drag on for years before anybody ever gets a payment. If Google can just completely ignore the off switch and still track you anyways just because they want to, what is the point of even having it in the first place?
Morbid Facts, Part 739. In 2012, 18-year-old Gabby Scanlon was celebrating her birthday at Oscar's Wine Bar in Lancaster, England, when staff served her a cocktail topped with liquid nitrogen. Moments after downing the smoking drink, she felt a violent pain in her abdomen. Doctors later said it was as if her stomach had exploded from the freezing chemical. She was rushed into emergency surgery, where doctors had to remove her entire stomach and reroute her digestive tract just to save her life. 3 years later, in 2015, the bar was fined £100,000 for failing to recognize the danger of serving cocktails still bubbling with liquid nitrogen. Kansas City pharmacist Robert Ray Courtney illegally diluted thousands of medications, including chemotherapy, over nearly a decade, claiming extra profit. Estimates put the number of affected patients at about 4,200, with some treatments watered down to as low as 17% of the prescribed dose. Convicted in 2002 and sentenced to 30 years, he was released to home confinement in 2024 under the First Step Act, sparking outrage from victims who think his actions contributed to serious harm and deaths.
You could always just come out with a new drink and market it properly. You don't have to sell drinks with liquid nitrogen to try to get customers. A lot of people probably don't understand the risks of this. And I get it makes it look cooler, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh yeah, let's go drink some liquid nitrogen. This sounds great. No, bro, just like drink some water at that point.
Bro, China really be living in the future sometimes. They just set a world record after 16,000 drones took to the sky in what is now the largest synchronized drone display ever recorded. But the craziest part about this is that the previous world record, which they also had, was only 5,164, which was set in 2021. And now they tripled that in just a matter of years. Each drone followed a specific programmed flight path to create visuals of towers, blossoms, and a glowing sky tree, which then had fireworks launched out of its branches. What the hell are they gonna do in 2030?
There's a chance that Kanye was cloned. And the Kanye we see now is a clone, or he's in that Get Out. So maybe check this out, right? Kanye tweeted, "Everybody knows Get Out was written about me." Remember he said that? Yeah. Now the theory goes that after his mental breakdown during the Pablo tour, he was admitted to the hospital.
That's
right?
when he got bipolar.
That's when he got they diagnosed him bipolar, and then Kanye even said in an interview like they prescribed him so much, and it just didn't sit right with his mental, right? Now, what they're saying is, what if Kanye, they tried to like get out him in a sense where his consciousness is still there, but puts another Kanye out, so he becomes this different person, but the one that's still in there is fighting back, and then that's why he's so rampant and unstable.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, there's no way, I feel like a person with bipolar can't get cloned or can't think, because you will always have that second person in you, right?
Yeah, he still has that second. Because what if it's not, like, obviously this is just a theory, but what if it's not bipolar and it's actually like a Get Out thing where he does have, it's like Yugi and Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Yami Yugi and Yugi, right? The Pharaoh.
There's a theory that Pilates is demonic. Pilates was created in the 1920s by Joseph Pilates. He was a sickly man who healed his body through exercise. He taught his first method in New York City in 1926. On the surface, it seemed innocent, but there's actually a little more that you might not know. 4 years after starting Pilates, Joseph actually joined the Freemasons in 1930. The Freemasons are a secret brotherhood that's been whispered about for centuries. It's said to quietly pull the strings of everyone powerful behind the scenes. While his exercise has nothing to do with the Freemasons specifically, his membership connects him to a society that some Christians view as spiritually concerning. It's not Pilates itself, but the history raises a lot of questions. Joseph had studied yoga, Zen Buddhism, and other Eastern disciplines. This shaped his method's focus on mindfulness, breathing, and mind and body connection. So the movements themselves are not inherently evil. That's not what I'm saying. But the philosophies behind them are what Christians are very concerned about. They consider your mind and your body to be connected. And so when you're practicing these movements that have been influenced by things outside of your faith, by like philosophies and ideas and ways of life that you aren't familiar with, they believe that this can have an influence on you, like because it came from like other sorts of spiritual origins. So let me know if you think Pilates is demonic, and follow for more.
A shocking medical scandal is unfolding in Austria, where a neurosurgeon is facing criminal charges for allegedly letting her 12-year-old daughter drill a hole into a patient's skull during emergency brain surgery. The unconscious patient had suffered traumatic head injuries and needed a burr hole to relieve pressure, yet prosecutors say the surgeon handed the drill to her daughter and let her perform the procedure herself, despite the child having zero medical training. The girl never should have been inside the operating room in the first place, as strict hospital protocol forbids minors or unauthorized personnel from being present during sterile surgeries, let alone touching the equipment, let alone drilling into patients' skulls. The patient was never informed a child would be involved, and only discovered the truth months later after an anonymous tip led to an investigation. The hospital immediately fired the surgeons involved, and the lead doctor is now on trial for causing bodily harm and abusing her position. Although the patient survived, he reportedly still suffers long-term effects, and the court called the doctor's decision a catastrophic breach of trust and professionalism.
Okay, I can understand a subtle situation like, oh yeah, put the band-aid on, not, oh yeah, take this drill and put a hole in their skull. Like somebody that's trained their entire life for this, you know way better than to let your daughter drill into somebody's head. And I'm also pretty sure if you ask them, hey, do you want my little daughter to drill this hole in your head? They would be like, no.
Did you know that a woman once bought a lie detector to interrogate her husband every single day?
She was known as the most jealous woman in the world. In 2014, in Leicester, United Kingdom, a woman named Debbie Woods married a man named Steve Woods. Everything seemed normal at first, but what Steve didn't know was that Debbie had been cheated on by all her previous partners, which had turned her into a deeply distrustful woman. As time went by, Debbie began to develop an irrational fear of her husband's infidelity, a condition known as Othello syndrome. Over the months, Debbie's obsession grew to the point where she would check her husband's phone, emails, and even his bank account several times a day. But things took a truly extreme turn when she started making her husband take a lie detector test every time he came home, even if he had just stepped out for a few minutes to take out the trash. She also forbade Steve from watching TV shows or reading magazines that featured attractive women. Her entire day revolved around her fear of being betrayed. If they went out to eat, when they returned home, she would ask whether he had looked at other women, and she'd use the lie detector to check his answer. As time went on, the situation began to take a toll on Steve. He became so nervous during the tests that the results often came out wrong, which only made things worse. Years later, with the help of specialists, Debbie was finally diagnosed with Othello syndrome and began receiving treatment. You might think their relationship improved after that, but unfortunately, this story never had a happy ending, as Steve eventually left her for another woman, and her biggest fear became true.
For God's sake, whatever you do, do not eat a cucumber. Please, put the cucumber down. There isn't a salad or a person safe right now that contains a cucumber. And while this may seem like I'm just hating on them, they are spreading like 5 different strains of salmonella, and the FDA is saying it is killing people, okay? I don't know what is going on with our food. I don't know why we have all these recalls. Like there was just a recall on cake. But it is clear that the cucumbers are causing a very, very bad salmonella outbreak that is now hospitalizing and killing people. These cucumbers have 5 different strains, and they don't know how it got there. And for God's sake, they can't even tell us how. Just know, don't eat a cucumber, okay? Something tells me y'all hard-headed, so I'm gonna read y'all an article. It said that 3 weeks ago, a Florida company recalled cucumbers shipped to 14 states after some tested positive for salmonella. Cucumbers remain the main culprit for rising number of infections. The U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention and the Food and Drug Administration continue to investigate 2 salmonella outbreaks likely connected to cucumbers, as the total of those sickened has grown to more than 380 people in 28 states. Here is the map, okay? Look at this map. The dark blue is going to tell you the amount of people. So 11 to 19 people have been contaminated in the dark blue, and 6 to 10 in the light blue, and in the white 1 to 2. Because the true number of sick people in the outbreak is likely much higher than the number reported, and the outbreak may not be limited to the states with the known illness. This is because many people recover without medical care and are not tested for salmonella, but the other ones who were at the hospital didn't. Oh, since we're back in the Wild Wild West and we're playing 1,000 Ways to Die right now, you might want to not eat a cucumber. Save your tummy and your medical insurance. Okay, bye.
If you see this camera in your town, it's already over. Across the UK and the US have started rolling out these AI facial recognition cameras, and yeah, it's exactly what it sounds. These things are disguised as normal CCTV cameras, but they scan every single face that goes past them. What this then does is pick up the person who's walked past it, and then automatically using AI scan it against a criminal database to see if you're wanted or you've done anything wrong. There is going to be someone watching and then proceeding further depending on who you are. Now, I'm not really sure how far this goes, like if I didn't pay a speeding ticket, are the police then going to come and jump on me? Or is it just for like actual criminals? Because I guess that's kind of smart. It is extremely clever though. They are scanning the photos of your face against a criminal database, your social media profiles, like the whole of the internet. It's insane. Some experts have warned that the actual cameras store your data, tracking everything such as where you go to, who you're then meeting, how long you're there for. Also, unfortunately, these cameras aren't government owned. They're buying them from third-party data companies. So instead of the old question, are you being watched? It's now, how often are you being watched?
This woman is able to capture something strange in this video. She goes to a computer center every day, where every day she sees this man watching these videos. Could this be a mental problem or a time traveler? Let me know in the comments.
Morbid Facts, Part 800. On November 10th, 1975, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, one of the largest freighters to ever sail the Great Lakes, vanished without a single distress call. She was hauling 26,000 tons of iron ore more across Lake Superior, a route sailors today still call the graveyard of the Great Lakes. As a brutal storm ripped across the lake, wind gusts reached hurricane force and waves rose over 30 feet. Nearby ships radioed that the Fitzgerald was taking whitewater over the deck, and her radar was down, vents smashed, and one of her lifeboats already torn apart by the waves. At 7:10 p.m., Captain Ernest McSorley made his final transmission, "We are holding our own." Minutes later, the 729-foot ship dropped off radar completely. When search teams managed to locate the wreck 2 days later, the bow was found buried more than 20 feet into the lake bed, showing how quick the ship plummeted through the water. The crew quarters were crushed flat, showing how violently the ship hit the bottom. So fast, the men never even reached their emergency stations. Divers later found crew hard hats still sitting neatly in their storage racks. All 29 crew members were lost, as not a single body was ever recovered. While the exact cause of the sinking still remains a mystery, many experts believe the Fitzgerald was struck by a rare Three Sisters, a set of massive rogue waves that can swallow a vessel in seconds, snapping the large ship in two and sending all 29 men to their graves 530 feet below the surface. In 1995, divers retrieved the ship's bell, the only piece ever brought to the surface, and replaced it with a memorial bell engraved with all 29 names. Every November 10th, it's rung 29 times, one toll for each life lost.
Something just grabbed my foot, bro.
Dude, what do you mean? What's under here?
Dude! Get out!
Oh my god, my computer's...
Dad! Daddy! Oh my god. Ah!
Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
Babe, have you seen my watch? Ah! Babe! Babe! Something's under the bed, babe! I swear something's under the bed! Oh my god, babe! Ah! Ah! Babe! Babe! Something just touched my foot! What? Something just touched my foot! Oh, under the bed! Babe, I swear!
Calm down. Nothing.
Oh my god!
Where? This is like scary but funny at the same time. Could you imagine how traumatizing this would be if you walk by your bed and someone grabs your foot? I would just put my mattress on the floor at that point.
The family that saw the real-life aliens are now in complete lockdown in their homes. So this is part 2, and if you haven't seen the other video, just go on my page and look. The family is being so serious about what they saw in their backyards that they're taking it full control in complete lockdown. So there was a UFO crash spotted in Las Vegas at around 11:20 p.m. And less than 40 minutes after that, this family calls the police because of what they see in their backyard. This is not the actual picture, but they claim to see multiple aliens just standing there in their backyard at nighttime, just staring at them. The guy claims that one of them was staring right at them, another one was behind the alien, and they had a weird light like in their leg, like under their skin. He said on the call that he's in his backyard. He swears this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified. Based off of reading this report of what this guy was saying on the phone and the drawings they gave, I'm kind of believing this one. One of the officers on this call said, "I have butterflies, bro. Saw a shooting star, and now these people say there's aliens in their backyard." This is after the UFO sighting. I'll be watching for updates on this whole story, so make sure you hit the plus and come back to me.
Did you know Disney has a weird ass tie to Jeffrey Island?
How?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who's that again?
She got arrested and she's on trial for Jeffrey Island because Jeffrey already died, right?
Yeah.
She's the last one that's kind of part of the running of the island.
Yeah.
People looked into it and they found out she used to work for Disney. And not only did she work for Disney, she was a child talent scout for Disney, fam.
Oh, okay.
She
I
was
already know where this is
child
going.
talent scout for Disney.
Yeah.
And she was very involved. Now, people did even more digging. Around the same time when she was working there, the Disney cruises, one of the stops was at St. Little James Island for snorkeling.
Oh no!
And St. Little James Island is Jeffrey Island.
No,
yeah.
fam.
Think about it like this.
Yeah.
It's snorkeling, right?
Uh-huh.
People always get lost at sea.
Trump plans to give every American a check worth an insane amount of money, but the Supreme Court might block him due to this weird reason. Trump claims on Truth Social that his tariff plan has already been a tremendous success, keeping the United States as the richest, most respected country in the world, all the while holding inflation down. He then went on to say that he will use the revenue from these tariffs to not only pay down the national debt, but also distribute individual dividends directly back to Americans. And the exact numbers he quoted are mind-boggling because the tariff plan has already earned the US more than $200 billion since its rollout a few months ago, and is projected to raise over $1 trillion before the end of his term, which will allow the Trump administration to give each American at least $2,000. But the Supreme Court is currently on the verge of issuing a ruling on whether Trump overstepped his presidential authority when he created these tariffs, and if they rule against him, then he will likely be required to refund all money earned and remove all current tariffs.
Einstein had died, and they had his brain thin sectioned because they wanted to see what made his brain different from everybody else. And it looked pretty much like everybody else's, with one exception. He had a whole lot of folds in his brain. So when you stretch those folds out, he had more surface area, he had more neurons. Scientists took neurons and they put them into a petri dish, and they hooked up the neurons to a computer chip. The chip was put into a computer that was loaded with Pong. The neurons began playing the game of Pong, even though there was no human attached to the neurons. And the longer they played, the better they got. They were actually learning. And now the scientists are struggling with the question, how does a neuron not attached to a human in a petri dish know how to play Pong? Where are the instructions?
Processed chips look harmless, but here's what really happens inside your body. The moment you chew, sharp particles rush down the throat into the stomach. Stomach fills with oily, salty chunks, acids struggling to break them down. A thick, greasy layer coats the stomach lining, slowing digestion. Salt floods the blood, arteries tighten instantly. The heart starts pumping harder, blood pressure rising. Kidneys work overtime, filtering out the excess sodium. Oil droplets pile up inside the liver. Early fat storage begins. Intestines glow red from irritation. Swelling begins. Artificial additives spread through the bloodstream, reaching every organ. The brain lights up with dopamine, craving more chips. Kidneys pull water, skin starts to lose hydration. Gas pockets expand, and the intestines' bloating builds. Heart, liver, and kidneys all glow under strain from constant overload. Processed chips may taste addictive, but inside, they quietly damage your organs.
These are some morbid facts about Charlie Sheen. When he was only 10 years old, Charlie Sheen traveled with his father to the Philippines for the filming of Apocalypse Now. There he witnessed a real water buffalo being decapitated by a machete in a ritual sacrifice, a moment filmed for the movie. Sheen later said the image stayed burned into his memory and was one of the most brutal things he had ever witnessed. At the peak of his fame, Charlie was burning through drugs at such an insane pace that he admitted he had a different reality. At one point, the actor was spending nearly $2,000 a day on cocaine and once admitted to smoking enough crack to fill a swimming pool. His binges spiraled into weeks-long parties filled with drugs and sex, where he bragged about sleeping with both men and women while high. It was during this reckless era that he contracted HIV, a diagnosis he kept secret for years as rumors about his health exploded. When Sheen finally revealed his HIV diagnosis in 2015, the confession was both shocking and life-saving. Doctors gave him credit for prompting a 95% increase in HIV testing kits, likely saving thousands of lives. In 1990, Sheen's engagement to actress Kelly Preston came to a bloody end when she was shot in the arm inside his home. Sheen later claimed a revolver had slipped from his pocket and accidentally discharged when it hit the floor, but the incident was enough for Preston to leave him immediately, prompting rumors that Charlie had actually attempted to kill her. While filming Money Talks, Charlie binged so heavily on cocaine that he suffered a nosebleed that wouldn't stop. The bleeding went on for 18 straight hours, leaving him physically drained and terrified. On the set of Free Money, after days of partying, Sheen was so exhausted and paranoid about passing out that he tried a bizarre method to stay awake. He claims he shoved an ice cube up his rectum to shock his body into alertness. He later recounted the story as one of the lowest points of his addiction. In 1995, Sheen's drug abuse had reached such a catastrophic level that doctors found his blood saturated with cocaine at a concentration so high it should have killed him on the spot. spot. Paramedics were stunned that he survived the overdose, with some calling it a medical miracle. But finally, after years of infamous drug binges, public breakdowns, and reckless behavior that nearly destroyed his career, Charlie claims he's now been sober since 2017, over 8 years without drugs or alcohol. He admits he still gets constant cravings, but says he fights them by remembering the shame and chaos of his tumultuous past.
When you do so many drugs to the point where you become a medical mystery, and the fact that it's a miracle that you're alive, you know you went way too deep.
Purchased at yard sales that ended up being way more valuable than anyone knew. A woman named Claire bought a card table for $25 at a garage sale because she thought it looked nice. 30 years later, she found out that it was one of only 6 tables in the world made by furniture makers John Seymour and Son. She flipped it at an auction for $540,000. In 1987, a British woman purchased a costume ring from a yard sale for $5, only to find out 30 years later that it was actually a genuine 26-carat diamond ring worth $960,000. In 2014, a scrap metal dealer from California bought a golden egg for $14,000 at a yard sale, hoping he could flip it for a quick profit. But after finding out the metal was worth far less than he was hoping for, he decided to take it to an antiques expert instead. It turned out to be an extremely rare Fabergé egg that once belonged to the Emperor of Russia, worth an estimated $33 million. In the year 2000, Rick Norsegian was looking to buy a barber chair at a garage sale, but ended up buying 2 boxes of old photos for $45. 4 years later, he discovered that the boxes contained 65 glass plate negatives from famous photographer Ansel Adams, worth right around $200 million.
This dude walked in on his roommate sawing his other roommate's off. I heard about this. It's about this dude named Douglas Taylor. He's living in this house that's pretty much like a sober home. So there's a bunch of people that live in this house. Like there's like a couple guys in there. Randomly on this night, around like 10:30 p.m., one of the guys who lives in the house hears Douglas and his roommate Hans upstairs arguing and like tussling with each other, right? Then he hears Hans scream, "Please no, stop." So he goes upstairs to see what the hell is going on. He sees Douglas Hans off with a whoa. And instantly like he just freaks out. Hans just like looks at him, doesn't even say anything, just looks at him and just keeps going back to sawing off.
Oh my god.
So that's when the downstairs neighbor, his name was Aaron.
Yeah.
He calls the police. Police come and there's body cam footage of all this. That's how I found out about this.
Yeah.
The police come and the EMTs instantly get to work on this dude Hans.
He's not yet?
With like 17 wounds all over his body. When the police come, he's
yeah.
But somehow, bro, like these EMTs like worked into like overdrive and actually got a pulse back from this guy.
What?
Well, look what we have here. Might be brothers, might be cousins, might be made in the same facility. Shh. Shut up! At this point, I have no idea, guys. Because these two look very similar, right? Nicolas Cage, Marilyn Manson. But wait. They used to hang out a lot. They probably still do. Shh. Shut up! Listen. I don't know how they're hanging out, but like I said, guys, maybe they're related, maybe they're cousins, who knows? Oh, you know what's going on here, guys, right? Because these two have a lot in common, right? Not only that, you seen that other picture. They were hanging out with each other. They seem to be best friends. Of course. They're always having a good time together, guys. Like I said, Nicolas Cage, Marilyn Manson, and whoever these two people are, I have no idea. But I know that these two are very close. Very close. They spent a lot of time together. A lot of time together. Now listen, I don't know what to think about these two, but as far as I'm concerned, they're friends. And they always hang out. They have a good time. They're both in the same club when they go to the same club, you know what I mean? And of course, entertainment purposes only. These are just pictures of celebrities hanging out, having a good time, that's all. I don't know, guys, let me know what you think. I'm out.
A woman just killed someone while live streaming and driving. Let that sink in. She was live streaming and driving at the same time. And guess what? Her kids were in the backseat of the car. And now that poor man's family has spoken out. The creator goes by Tea Time here on TikTok, and this happened in Zion, Illinois on Monday evening when she was live streaming while driving and not even trying to be safe about it. People in her live said she was talking to everyone in the chat, responding to every single comment, constantly looking at the screen and not paying attention to the road. You then hear a loud thump jump, her kids scream in the back. She says, "I just hit somebody," and shortly after ends the live. That man was identified as 59-year-old Darren Lucas, who was rushed to the hospital but sadly did not make it. And his family spoke out saying, even if she was live streaming, we will continue to pray for what the driver must be going through. They said his wife is trying to move forward without her best friend, her love, and honestly her life. They said he was humorous, a great friend, and the nicest guy that they've ever known. The question everyone's asking is, was it worth it? Was live streaming worth more than the life of this man? The lives of her children, her own life, and could it not have waited until she got home? Authorities are still investigating. So far, no arrests have been made, but rest in peace to Darren. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
I don't even get what the point of her live streaming was. She literally had a green screen. If she was doing a live of her driving, that would be completely different. And if she was being precautious, okay. But she literally had a green screen on, so you couldn't even tell she was driving. Her driving had nothing to do with the live. She literally just couldn't wait.
This is everything that happened on the news today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. IKEA's new virtual store in Roblox will now actually pay players $14 an hour just to work in the game. So this is literally just an IKEA store that's inside of Roblox, and you can just apply and get paid to work there, like different shifts. Like you can be a cashier in the game and they pay you real money. Spotify just officially announced that they will now be more expensive than Apple Music, so they're raising their prices again. I think there might be different levels of plans you can pay for, but this is what they are. Giant, venomous, flying spiders with 4-inch legs are heading to New York area. Okay. Basically, if you have not heard about this, this is not just for New York, it's going along the entire east coast of the US, so good luck. These are called Joro spiders, which is a type of orb weaver, and people say that they're apparently not supposed to be able to bite. Starbucks' new summer menu just leaked, and they're apparently releasing new energy drinks. This is what those energy drinks are. Take with it as you please. For anybody that wondered why I haven't been posting for literally like 3 days, it's because I got a new telescope, and I'm wanting to know, do you guys want telescope content? Thank you. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
This is the difference between grocery store beef and directly from farmers. Grocery store beef has a bright pink color, which is often stabilized by packaging gases to maintain the visual appeal for weeks. Grass-finished, regeneratively raised beef has a darker, deeper red because it contains more myoglobin and is not gas-treated. Factory farming means cows are fed grain for rapid fat gain, and the meat can be wet-aged in plastic, often with carbon monoxide to maintain the color. Farms that instead use grass-finished, regenerative practices have slower growth but far higher nutrient density and stronger maintenance of the land. If you can get this super deep red color from a local farmer, that's a great sign of it being truly grass finished, older, stronger muscle tissue, richer in nutrients, and not artificially oxygenated.
This man was working the night shift when he suddenly saw this. This disturbing video was captured by a food delivery worker who was finishing yet another order when he noticed something that looked straight out of a horror movie. Through the window of an apartment, he sees a strange man dancing alone in the darkest hours of the night. The creature-like movements, the terrifying appearance left thousands of viewers frozen in fear. And the fact that this happened around 3 a.m. makes it even more disturbing, because we all know what kind of things happen at that hour. So, what do you think this really was? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. And follow me before something like this appears outside your window.
Employees may soon start leaving Target after a new policy forces them to smile at customers within 10 feet of them. Target just rolled out this new program for all of its employees, mandating that you must smile, wave, and greet shoppers if they come within 10 feet of you. So Target's calling this the 10-4 program, and what that means is that if a customer is within 10 feet of you, you must smile, make eye contact, and greet or wave if they get within 4 feet. As an employee, you're expected to ask the customer how is their day going and if they need help finding anything. And Target's trying to do anything to increase revenue for holidays because right now their sales are basically flat all year. The share price of their stock is down 30%, and they just got done eliminating about 1,800 jobs last month. And Target ends up getting a third of their entire yearly revenue during Q4 for the holiday season, so they're hoping that the employees will smile, wave, and make them more money.
The New Jersey drones. Let's go. Our buddy Daniel, who does a lot of like cinematography stuff for like 3-letter agencies. Yeah. He's at this like convention thing. There's a company out of New Jersey that showed up to do a demo with us today. They have developed a flying drone car and are the cause of all the UFO hysteria a few months back. The guy who piloted the car/drone told me this, that they don't have to disclose these tests under cert protection that covers technology for companies awarded government contracts, i.e. Lockheed Martin, Northrop. You watch the video, that's exactly what people are seeing in New Jersey. Yes. He also sent a picture of, that makes sense. It's a giant drone that releases smaller drones. Gosh, Star Wars.
Dude, this is iRobot.
They literally, legally did not have to disclose what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because of government contracts.
Dude, I bet they were freaking out, all the press they were getting.
Are they surveilling people with these drones, or are they?
That's such a good question. Because if they don't have to disclose their flight logs, what they're doing as they test, well, what if it's a recon drone?
If you like spicy food, you actually love pain. I'm not even joking, this is nuts, but share this around. So, first of all, spice isn't a taste. Your tongue can't taste it. You only have, sweet, sour, bitter, salty. But your tongue can obviously detect heat and pain. Now, chilies and spice that are in the food that you eat, they don't actually bind to your tongue, they bind to your pain receptors. As I say, spice isn't a taste. Your tongue can't detect it, but it can send it to your brain saying that you are in pain. What this actually means is every time you are eating something spicy, you're not tasting the spice. The spicy feeling on your tongue is then getting sent to your brain pain receptors. So every time you eat something spicy, it's your body basically saying you are in pain.
This woman called a secret society doing a ritual in the middle of a cornfield. Check this out.
I was just walking in the cornfields, minding my own business. Typical Friday night in Indiana.
Okay.
Thought I was all by myself.
But she's not.
I was not. I'm talking quietly because I'm a little frightened.
There they are.
This is happening.
That's an effigy of a demon. She's gonna get a little closer. Watch this.
I'm gonna get closer. They're not even acknowledging my presence. And I don't really have any friends. I kind of wanted to do something fun tonight because it is a Friday, so I'm just gonna see what's going on.
Kind of strange to walk around in the cornfield on a Friday night by yourself. Check this out.
It's so weird. There's so many weird things happening
They're like
out
in a
here all the time.
trance.
You really never know.
6'7" is demonic, and you need to stop letting your kids say this.
6'7", a meme kids can't get enough of and teachers can't get away from.
We are not saying the word 6'7" anymore. If you do, you have to write a 67-word essay.
Some schools even banning the phrase in classrooms.
You are no longer allowed to say, what number do you think I'm going to say?
6'7". All day, every day.
The trend took off a few months ago, but has re-intensified with school back in session. Thought to originate from a rap song by Skrilla. But the experts we spoke to say the numbers really don't mean anything.
It's like slang to make parents be like, what does that mean?
I'm a Santo. I do Palo. I'm a Santo. What's that mean exactly? Like, all that sacrificing goats and all that, not just for that's real life. You sacrifice a goat. Sacrifice goats, chickens, mice. Like, I do it for certain though. Like, I'm not allowed to explain it. They take y'all in my Godfather crib so he can show y'all something. With my religion. Yeah.
Follow me. Starts off with Elegua, which is the path opener, Ogun, Ochosi, Shango, Aigayu, Ochum.
Yeah, like you can put bad spirits on people too. Like you can put a person's name and like their birth things like that inside the. You can put them inside the Agun pot. And then Agun like metal, like they get something can happen to them.
So it would be something in metal that would.
So there you have it. There is no denying it. This meme was said to be started from Skrilla's song Doot Doot 6'7", and you can see by Skrilla's own admission that he's into Santeria magic. He's into worshipping demons and summoning demons to try to get them into other people, to harm them. And in this song, he's referring to two demons or entities. Number 6 in Santeria is Ogun, and number 7 is Yemoya. That's where you get 6'7" in his song. Now your kids are chanting this. There's a reason that he used the Baby Shark theme. And there's a reason that your kids seem addicted to saying this, repeating it over and over and over again. Because this is literally a chant. If you're letting your kids say 6-7, you should think twice about it and you should not let them do it. What do you guys think about this situation? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, make sure to follow me for more, and God bless.
See, if it was like a harmless joke, who cares? But, because imagine your kid comes home and it's like 6-7, you're like, what does that mean? Like, oh, this guy that performs demonic rituals and possesses people said it. I would be left speechless.
This may be the end of Wendy's, as they just announced that they are closing hundreds of restaurants. The interim CEO announced today that Wendy's will be closing about 5 or 6% of their restaurants, around 200 to 300 of them. Now, Wendy's currently has over 6,000 locations in America, and the CEO says that they are closing the ones that are consistently underperforming. Now, Wendy's reported that they have had a month-over-month decline of spending of up to 5%. And places like McDonald's are saying lower income households just aren't going out and spending that much money on fast food anymore. But Wendy's hopes that closing these hurting restaurants will allow other ones to open that will then start thriving.
Y'all, we have something to tell y'all. We're not the real us.
Stop glitching.
We're not the real us. How?
Sometimes I feel like they're just playing to see how stupid we are, but sometimes I feel like they're genuinely being honest. Think about it. They got all the money in the world. They got all the fame in the world. They're just bored. So what else are they going to do besides mess with people?
Did you know that humanity has a real-life countdown of the end of the world? It's called the Doomsday Clock, and it was created by scientists in 1947, and it's basically a countdown that shows us when supposedly a big catastrophe is gonna happen. When the clock hits midnight, it means we're doomed, literally. A nuclear war, a disaster, something that's gonna wipe us out, literally. Right now the clock stands at 90 seconds at midnight. That's as close to humanity as we've ever been. It's been ticking since the 1940s, like nuclear wars, a bunch of things, you know? It's just so disturbing and it makes you really overthink. Every time the world feels unstable, the hand moves closer, and the worst part is that supposedly it's controlled by fate. It's actually controlled by us. Every war, you know, every global disaster happens because of us, and it moves even closer. And when the last second strikes, we basically have no reset button, which is absolutely terrifying. How much seconds or time do you guys think we have?
This barber was pleasing himself while cutting the hair of a little boy, and the mother just let it happen. Last month in Texarkana, Arkansas, a woman named Crystal took her son to get a haircut. And before this, the mother was in contact with the barber and planned this with him. This is 32-year-old Jodeci Smith. These are text messages between them where he asks her if it's okay if he does this while giving her son a haircut. And instead of saying no or calling the cops or avoiding this person completely, she says that's fine, just don't let my baby see that. And after knowing what's about to happen, she willingly takes her son to the shop, who has no idea what's going on and just watches. Police were made aware of this, and there's currently a warrant out for Jodeci's arrest, who is still on the run. But many people are saying that the mother should also be arrested because she willingly brought her son there and put him in harm's way instead of protecting him. Anyone with information is asked to call the number above, but prayers to this poor boy. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
Okay, what the freak is going on here? So you're telling me your son's barber said he was gonna whip it out while cutting your son's hair, and you didn't say no? She said okay. What do you mean okay? What is remotely okay about any of that?
Morbid Facts, Part 795. In one of the most disturbing cases ever shown on My Strange Addiction, a Tennessee woman named Casey developed a heartbreaking obsession after her husband Sean died suddenly from an asthma attack. Stricken with grief, she began carrying his urn everywhere, talking to it, sleeping beside it, and treating it like her husband was still alive. One day, when some of the ashes accidentally spilled on her hand, she instinctively licked them off, and soon enough became addicted to doing it deliberately. She admitted to eating the ashes up to 5 5 times per day, worried that if she ever stopped, she'd truly lose him forever. The ashes reportedly tasted like sand and rotten eggs, but she couldn't resist the rare feeling of closeness it gave her. Over time, she eventually consumed nearly a pound of her husband's remains, until appearing on the show finally made her realize how far her grief had gone. After filming, Casey entered therapy and eventually stopped consuming the ashes, keeping his urn nearby as a reminder of love rather than loss.
There is this guy who, mind you, is a grown man. He recently enrolled himself in high school and was like dating a bunch of girls at this high school. He's a grown ass man.
Recently,
this year.
Whoa.
So he was a grown ass man
posing as a teenager.
Acting like he was in high school still, yes. It was this guy named Kelvin Lubke. Pretty much the way that he did this was he found a way to like falsify these records or like basically paperwork so he would be able to go to the school. So he created all this fake stuff, got these people to believe it out there in Minnesota. They took his word for it. They saw all of it and was like, okay, yeah, it's cool. You can, go to the school. So this guy gets into the school. He originally was like homeless for a while too, which was like kind of weird. So he ends up going to this school. He attends like a bunch of classes like normal. Bro goes, he even joins the football team. And then surprisingly enough, bro, he even took like I think the girl was like 16 or something like that. He took a little girl to prom.
Whoa.
Attended their prom as well, bro. The prom pictures are crazy.
I'm really. Do you think he did a whole promposal and everything too?
I think he probably did.
Nah, that's bugging.
He went and like took the pictures, like her parents taking in the driveway.
Wow.
And then he was there for about, I think they said 20 days.
Until they noticed?
Until they noticed. It was some girl so happened to be on social media, and I think she was friends with the girl he went to prom with. She saw a picture of his mugshot on social media randomly.
Oh wow, yeah.
The girl ended up telling like her parents or something like that, and then the parents ended up calling the authorities. So they found out everything he was doing, and then apparently, this is what I heard, that's not even the first school he did it to.
Whoa.
A year before at a different school that was like a couple miles away from that one.
Really?
And I guess that one they said he went there for like a whole year.
Wow.
And he didn't get caught at that.
What the
But you didn't pretend to be a teenager at the high school?
I had a different birth certificate on my other thing in Africa.
They say when you hit rock bottom, you can only go up. Unless you're this dude, then you go even farther down into the ground than possible. This dude had nothing left to lose, and what did he do? He pretended to be a teenager to enroll in high school and date teenage girls. There are so many ways to ruin your life, and this has got to be one of the worst ones. And the fact that nobody caught on to him, this dude has a mugshot out there, and they didn't go, oh yeah, no, you're good, bro.
A nurse was so lazy that he killed his patients to reduce his workload. Reports are coming out today that an unnamed 44-year-old German man has been sentenced to life in prison after killing 10 of his patients and attempting to murder at least 27 others. Prosecutors say that he targeted mainly his elderly patients by injecting them with lethal amounts of painkillers or sedatives to ease his workload during night shifts. Bro, killing because you can't be asked is wild. But what makes this even worse is that all of these offenses took place over a period of just 6 months. And it might not even end there, because authorities believe that he could be linked to even more victims prior to this time frame.
Nothing upsets me more than people who are scared of things like this. Let me explain. Listen, I get it. At first it seems scary until you realize that if you weigh the thing, it's like 90 pounds. Do you have any idea what I could do to 90 pounds? I mean, sure, it might seem scary in the video, but if you think about it logically, these things are just feeble little creatures. Stop being scared of things you could easily win against in a fight.
There's a reason that this is my most streamed and downloaded podcast episode of all time. It's the only episode I've actually been sent messages from prison. Imagine coming home from a night out one morning to find that your entire family have been brutally murdered and just witnessing the most horrific crime scene you can imagine. There was 8 people dead. Weirdly, pretty much every single person in that trailer was actually still in their bed. They were all dead in their beds. It was like a gang of intruders had gone in and killed this whole family while they slept. It was so chilling. There's honestly nothing more terrifying than the thought of that to me, but this is exactly what happened to Guy Hines Jr. in Glynn County. Now, Guy actually rang the police himself in a sheer panic, and I actually played the 911 call on the podcast episode, and it's so so heartbreaking. Just a trigger warning. It's incredibly devastating. It's like he's having a breakdown, obviously, as you would, seeing a scene like that. But when police got to the crime scene, they actually turned this whole thing round on Guy himself. Despite the fact that the evidence showed that, as I said, these people were all in their beds asleep when this happened. Like, there is no way that one person would have been able to do that without anybody fighting back. Also, this was Guy's whole family. He had no motive to kill them. By some miracle, while Guy was on the phone to police, he actually realized one of the victims was still alive. And he, in a panic, was like, oh my God, somebody's still alive. Please get an ambulance here quickly. If he was the killer, why would he want the ambulance to save somebody who could potentially dob him in? From the crime scene, professionals did conclude that this had to be the work of a large group of people. And there were sickeningly bloody handprints on the ankles of the victims, proving they'd actually been held down while they'd been beaten to death. It actually doesn't bear thinking about. Blood spatter evidence was also really fascinating because it showed that these people had been attacked from both sides. So unless Guy himself was holding the victims' ankles down and also beating them from both sides of the bed at the same time, I don't understand how the police worked out that this was Guy's fault. This guy had virtually no blood on him. No forensic evidence at all, actually, to confirm that he was the killer, but he got put in prison for this crime. If you think all of that is infuriating, just wait until you hear about the police cover-up. There's far too many details that I could ever go into on a TikTok video, so if you want to hear the rest of this case, please head over to The Bourne Investigation.
Let's talk about Will Smith. I found a few disturbing clips online that speak for themselves. Roll it.
School sometimes, my dad will just pull his pants down. Will is always playing.
I also found this clip. Roll it. I guess it's just one giant coincidence that Jaden Smith wanted to be emancipated at 15. Online, it was widely believed that this was due to negative reactions he was getting to a movie. People have also hypothesized that Will Smith has been being humiliated by Hollywood for years and years to keep his status. First and foremost, we have the slap heard around the world. Also have the whole entanglement situation, which was basically Jada Pinkett Smith telling Will Smith she had been unfaithful to him right in front of his face for the entire world to see. Last but not least, we have clips like I'm about to show you, which just can't be serious. Roll it. People for years have hypothesized that Hollywood has really gotten to Will Smith and his entire family. Of course, this is for entertainment purposes only, but comment below. Let me know if I'm onto something or am I tripping? Wake up.
Have you ever captured something strange on video? This person was going back home when they captured this strange lady at 3 in the morning in this empty lot. Can you see her?
This guy went live on Facebook outside of his ex-wife's house. He ends her life while he's on live, and then in the same hour, he goes and does the same thing to his ex-girlfriend.
So ex-wife and his ex-girlfriend?
Yes, in the same hour, he kills both of them.
Wow.
This happened in Baltimore in 2021 to this guy named Raji Black. At the time, he was having a lot of disputes about custody. This thing took this guy to another level and sent him spiraling all the way to the point where he eventually ends up going down this road. Both of the women's names were Wendy Black and Tara LeBang. So on this unfortunate day, he decides to jump on Facebook Live and he starts recording himself. You don't really know where he's at until after he's done rambling about his life and his relationships and all these other things, basically blaming his ex-girlfriend and his ex-wife. You find out where he's at because he turns the camera and it's his ex-wife's house. He's in front of it. He goes and says, "Oh, there goes my ex-wife right here." And immediately when she sees him, she tries to go to close the door, and you see this guy rush for the door while he's on live and gets inside. That's when he ends up taking her life.
And he does it on camera.
And he does it on live, yeah.
Wow.
But before he did it, he took both of their kids and he put them inside of his car so they wouldn't have to see what he was going to do to their mom. So he ended up doing that. But 20 minutes before, he went to his ex-girlfriend, Tara's house, and he did the same thing to her as well. So it was actually before, and then he ended up going to his ex-wife's house and murdered her too. Then right after that, he ends up shooting himself as well. He does it in the house after he shoots her, his ex-wife.
And he leaves his kids in the car?
And he just leaves them in the car. And both of their parents are inside dead.
That's insane.
Which is super crazy.
The video you just watched was filmed during a Beyoncé concert, and we can all see she isn't acting naturally. She looks controlled. Beyoncé warned us this would happen, but a lot of her fans seem to have forgotten. Look, last year during one of her concerts, Beyoncé behaved strangely, almost as if she were a completely different person. People in the front row swear it wasn't her. They claim she was replaced by a look-alike, or even worse, a clone. And when you watch the videos they filmed from the front row, it's obvious. Beyoncé doesn't have the same facial features she used to. And on top of that, her movements seem different too, almost robotic. But wait, the worst part is that right before that concert, Beyoncé warned us she'd be replaced. Look, in this old video, she talks about a robot clone. And if you doubt it, here's what Beyoncé is supposed to look like. We all want to know why she'd be replaced when she's at the top of the music world. Many think it's a way to keep control over her. Do you really believe the Beyoncé we knew in 2010 is still here? Or was she erased and replaced for good? Every Beyoncé fan needs to see this video before it's too late. So quickly share it with everyone who loves her music. Click share, then more, and choose message.
Sometimes we just try to brush things off as conspiracy or coincidence, but this woman has had too many crazy encounters for this to be normal. I feel like every time I see her, she's got something weird or evil going on. And just look at the people she's around. They're all getting exposed right now. But yeah, I'm not really liking this so far. It's not really my cup of tea. Shout out to all my British fans out there. That one was for you. My bad, that was low-key terrible. I'm tired.
This movie seemed to have been cursed. The production was a mess. It took them years. People passed away during filming. So much went on behind the scenes. The reason it seemed to have been cursed is because they made a mockery of God's throne, the Northern Lights, and end times prophecy. This is wild. Let's get into it. If you're unfamiliar with this, check out my playlist, The North. It'll make a lot more sense. The throne room is described in Revelation as being like emerald with a rainbow round about the throne. There's a lot of different folklore and stories about the Northern Lights being how souls go to heaven. We've been theorizing over here that the Northern Lights are the chariots of fire that rapture souls, and also that they are the breath of life and that they get sent out from the North Star or Polaris. Just a quick recap, this is a picture I took of Polaris. Notice the triangle shape, and also you can see the lights going out from it. My 1863 Bible showing the Lord judging Jerusalem. The word used for emerald in Aaron's breastplate in the Old Testament has the same root as the word for God's lightning. Ezekiel talks about the creatures that were like fire around the throne. Just check out some of the movie posters. You have red, green, and yellow. Yellow is thought in mythology to be like a portal color, and obviously it's a combination of red and green. These are also the colors of the Northern Lights, and the yellow brick road leads to the land of Oz, or Emerald City. Take a look at these little cross marks. Here's from a video I took of Polaris. I'm pretty sure God showed me the actual throne with those shapes sitting on it. This image flashed several times in the video I have, and come on, that literally looks like a chair. Here's just an up close so you can see what I'm talking about. So look at when they're entering Emerald City. Truth in plain sight. That is Polaris, aka the Star of Bethlehem. Every poster, green, red, gold, the Emerald City. Notice how there's the light on the top, like I've been saying, Polaris, which means heavenly, and then the rainbow. So look at the Emerald City. This is Hallgrímskirkja Church in Iceland. It looks very similar. There's a big cross on the top. So they go inside of Emerald City. Look at the walls and ceiling in this scene. This is the inside of Hallgrímskirkja Church. and it's a big organ. So then I'm like, I think it says we get brought back to Zion with singing. And yes, we do. Here are just 3 of the verses. You might be thinking, I thought we went up with a trumpet. Well, God's voice sounds like a trumpet. Did I mention there's a rainbow road leading up to Hallgrímskirkja Church? Here's the moment that triggered all of these realizations for me. I thought it was so cool and I just wanted a reason to show you guys. When they first get there, they clean them up and fix them, kind of like we're gonna be sanctified. So they go inside and talk to the wizard, and would you look at that? He's covered in red and green clouds with fire around him, just like how the Bible says. And this looks to be the throne, the Ark of the Covenant. And don't forget, Jesus sits on the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant. And also, there's 2 cherubims on both sides of the ark. So then they find out that the wizard is a man behind a green curtain. And remember, Polaris sends out the glory of the Lord, or the glory cloud, the northern lights. So man behind the green curtain. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as with a garment. He makes the clouds his chariot. He rides on the wings of the wind. He makes his messengers winds, his ministers a flaming fire. And then look at what he's doing. Remember we talked about how God is Father Time and that like mythologies invert things of God. This part's also nuts. So Galinda, the good witch of the north, I've been saying Jerusalem is in the north. Black Rock, look at the bubble. Green, yellow, red. Galinda is Satan masquerading as an angel of light. This is the archetype of Babylon. This is an inversion of God, or maybe an angel that was guarding Emerald City. I'm not really sure on her yet, but this is supposed to be Satan. In the book, this character is actually the Queen of the South, and she's in charge of a bunch of little red minions. In the movie, she's the Queen of the North. See the inversion there? And she's Queen of the Munchkins, which I think is going to be aliens. They're going to say that she's here with aliens to help. I've been talking about how we need to recognize the of Babylon, but just to give you a quick rundown. So this is the book version of the character, and the of Babylon always has red hair and either a white dress or a green dress. Just like Venus, Athena, Freya, the Catholic version of Mary, this is Lucifer, Thor, Hera, Diana, who's directly mentioned in the Bible. Are you guys starting to put 2 and 2 together? It's all the same being, just under a different name and slightly different. Often shows up as a moon goddess, an archer, somebody that's from the moon, or can float or fly or float down in a bubble. And it's really interesting that she shows up in a bubble, because this is this. And if you saw my video exposing astrology, the sign for is a pearl, hence why Venus stands inside of an oyster. And that's why all of these characters are linked to the moon, because that sign also is. So the green light is good and the red light is coming from below, I think. Green and red are at odds. So this is the archetype for the woman in Revelation 12. This is going to be the Night Lady of Babylon. The English translation has us all expecting her to show up in purple. The word can also accurately be translated to crimson, like her hair color. I think that Revelation 12 is going to play out very literally, and it's going to have something to do with an alien fallen angel invasion. The name Galinda appears to come from Old English and Germanic roots. It links to serpent, shield, or protection. This is all starting to add up, right? And valley. So valley, protector, serpent. And then think about it. In the book version, she's the Witch of the South. Hell. In the movie version, they made her the Witch of the North, God's terrain. The Wicked Witch's catchphrase is, "I'm melting." What melts, you guys? Snow, because emeralds are in the north. Look at the sign. It says, "Bell out of order, please knock." There's an extra passage or two that's added to the book of Daniel in the Ethiopian Bible, where he refers to the dragon as the bell. So I'm not totally sure. Maybe that could be the witch in the beginning that like the house got dropped on her. I didn't actually rewatch this movie. It all just kind of flooded back to me at once, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what this is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Use your discernment as usual. This one, wow.
The creepy guy from Subway. You remember him? The main guy from Subway, Jared. He went on a Subway diet and lost 425 pounds, right?
Eating Subway.
Yeah, eating Subway.
I had food and burgers that looked like this, and I looked like this. Then I found Subway restaurants.
You don't remember this commercial?
I could enjoy lots
Nah, I don't even remember it.
Okay, so right after he started going on tour, like he made this whole foundation to like fight child obesity. He would do tours in like schools and stuff and like meet all these kids, tell them about like, okay, this is what you should be eating, right? So their office there was no one in there.
Before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys. Their phones were being spied on. Click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately.
So one day they decided to put a camera in the office. One day they found one of their underage employees having in their office with her boyfriend. And Jared, I think we should get more cameras, but we should put it in like children's washrooms. Because he was so like, he was obsessed with like children. They went around the whole city putting like cameras, secret cameras in places where children would take their clothes off, the bathroom and stuff like that. And one day, 2 of their houses got raided. Guess what they found in Jared's house? A USB stick with 5.6 terabytes of CP.
When was the last time you saw Miley Cyrus? Why do I ask? Because she was featured in a Gucci ad, and she is now completely unrecognizable. If you haven't seen the photo, take a look at this. Who is that in the Gucci ad? Does that look like Miley Cyrus to you? This is not the Miley Cyrus I remember seeing on TV. Do you? What is going on with Miley Cyrus? This is the Miley Cyrus I'm used to seeing, and I'm sure many of you are. Take a look at this side by side. That's the Gucci ad. That's Miley Cyrus. What is going on with Miley Cyrus? So the question needs to be asked. Has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? This is the Miley Cyrus we're all used to seeing. So my question to you is, who is this Miley Cyrus? As I always say in all of my videos, I understand that people age and people can change. But what is going on with Miley Cyrus? So I guess my question to you is, has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Throwback to when Kim Kardashian accidentally solved an almost decade-long mystery just by taking a selfie. You see, back in 2011, the golden sarcophagus of Nejamonk, an ancient Egyptian priest, was suddenly stolen from its tomb without a trace. Since it was a priceless artifact that was over 2,000 years old, the Egyptian authorities desperately tried to track it down, but were never able to. Many years soon went by, and people figured the coffin was lost forever. That is until Kim Kardashian decided to take this completely random selfie one day at the 2018 Met Gala. You see, as it turns out, after Nejamonk's coffin had been dug up by thieves, they'd smuggled it to a guy in the UAE who managed to cook up a fake export for him. The thieves were actually able to just sell this coffin to the Met Museum a few years later for $4 million. With absolutely no clue about its true origins, the Met curators just casually put it on display. And it wasn't until Kim Kardashian just so happened to take a selfie with it a year later that one of the original thieves noticed and actually just anonymously notified the authorities himself, since he was apparently angry about never getting paid for digging up the coffin. So 7 years after Nejamonk's disappearance, the Met finally returned him to Cairo and apologized. And one of the main guys involved was also arrested, all thanks to Kim Kardashian.
This dude literally got so mad that he didn't get paid for what he did that he snitched on himself. I feel like he could have just been quiet and moved on with his life. I don't know what he thought he was going to do. By the way, guys, I did this crime a long time ago and, you know, they stole it from me. So can you please go get it back and give me my money? He's like, oh, I'm over here. Okay, buddy, you're going to jail. See you later.
I don't think there's anything more chilling in true crime than when you realize, oh my god, the wrong person might be in prison and the real murderer might be walking free. There was no forensic evidence suggesting that the boyfriend murdered her, but he still got put in prison. And the evidence that another guy came forward with about a different suspect is honestly chilling. Jodie Jones was brutally murdered in 2003 in Dalkeith in Scotland. Basically, everybody made up their mind right from the start that the only real suspect was her boyfriend Luke Mitchell. But police searched him top to bottom and he had not a single scratch on him, despite the fact that police said that Jodie would have fought back. He didn't have any blood, no DNA evidence whatsoever. But regardless, because Luke dressed like a goth and listened to Marilyn Manson, they basically just made up their minds that he was the murderer. Police didn't seem to investigate any other suspects, even a guy acting super sus the night of the murder. I was honestly 50-50 about whether Luke Mitchell did commit this murder or not until I heard this. A guy came out to say that basically him and his roommate lived half a mile away from where Jodi was found murdered. And he literally went to police to say he thought his roommate did it. His roommate came back the night of the murder covered in scratches, acting totally weird, and he couldn't explain where he got these scratches from. He kept changing his story. Not only that, but weeks prior to Jodi Jones being found murdered in the woods, the roommate had written a full essay fantasizing about killing a girl in the woods. But according to this guy, he went to police said they would follow it up, and they never did. If you're interested in a full deep dive of this case, I've done an episode on the Bourne investigation, so come and join the conversation.
On another episode, Where the Fuck is Britney Spears? I figured we're all missing Britney Spears on her Instagram right now. So I figured, why not? Let's do some videos where we go through some of Britney's old Instagram posts and try to break them down. This is October 15th, 2021. I'll just be honest and say, I've waited so long to be free from the situation I'm in. And now that it's here, I'm scared to do anything because I'm afraid I'll make a mistake. That totally makes sense to me. For so many years, I was always told if I succeeded at things, it could end. And it never did. I worked so hard, but now that it's here and getting closer and closer to ending, I'm very happy, but there's a lot of things that scare me. And this here reminds me of what just happened, has it been 2 weeks now, when she was at the restaurant at Thousand Oaks. The Paps run through the trees and onto the road when I drive home, and it's creepy, and I have to drive by an elementary school. The kids are a big deal, but so am I. I think what she meant there was, obviously, the kids' safety is extremely important, but her safety is important too. I think that's what she meant there. I don't like that they try to scare me and jump out like they do. It's like they want me to do something crazy. But like I said, I'm fearful of doing something wrong. So I won't be posting as much in a world where it's our liberty to be free. It's a shame. I started experiencing that when I got the keys to my car for the first time 4 months ago, and it's been 13 years. I haven't done anything to be treated the way I have for the past 13 years. I'm disgusted with the system, and I wish I lived in another country. And I think she did move to another country. I'm celebrating Christmas way early this year because why not? I believe any reason to find more joy in life is a good idea, and it's no secret that I've been through it in the past. So I might have to do things a little differently from now on. Lord have mercy on my family's souls if I ever do an interview. In the meantime, I'm staying clear of the business, which is all I've ever known my whole life. Which is why this is so very confusing for me. Anyway, God bless you all. I think she's so torn there. I think she's torn between staying in the business and leaving because she feels like she has to now that she has her freedom. Let's play a clip that I found from a while back where she talks about where she would live if she ever lived in another country.
And you said you're thinking about moving to London.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's the one place that I feel completely anonymous, and I just like the way they treasure everything. Everything's very simply done. And, the milkman still comes to the door, and I like the simplicity of that. I think that's very cool. And, I don't know.
With all the talk and things that have been posted on Britney's Instagram throughout the years, and especially recently with mentions of London and naming the baby London and all these different things, doesn't sound that far-fetched to me that could be a place that maybe she's living a simple life and she's been in hiding right now. I don't know, tell me your thoughts.
Nobody wants to use this toilet.
Ho, ho, ho! Yeah, Santa, and I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to sit on this toilet either to go to the bathroom. Hell no. This video that I got tagged in has no context, but honestly there really doesn't need to be any, because here we can see Bugs Bunny sitting down in a squatted position, and as it turns out, he's part of this toilet. He's basically the backrest, and if you were to sit down here, his hands would be caressing your thighs. Now, as it turns out, this nightmare fuel of a toilet is not the only one at this establishment. This is located at a bar in Medellin, Colombia, and they feature all sorts of toilets with different characters as the backrest. You have Donald Duck, this one not as bad, but if you thought the toilets were bad, you guys should see the sinks here, man. This one I had to blank out, but Catwoman is squatting down over the sink and it is exposed. I'm just gonna leave it at that. In the men's restroom, it's the exact same way. You've got a faucet, and that's you know what. If you guys want to visit this bar, you can go to Dulce Jesus Mio. Again, Medellin, Colombia. But, I wouldn't be going here myself.
This is the real Tom and Jerry. The show was comedy. The origin was survival.
New York, 1891. 2 orphans placed in a home for boys on the Higher West Side. The men who funded it weren't rescuers. They were paying for shows. Neighbors whispered about evenings behind velvet curtains. Whiskey poured, cigars burning, while the boys were forced to fight. The rules were simple. 1 hunter, 1 prey. Every round ended with blood on the carpet, teeth spit from swollen mouths, and men cheering louder than the children cried. Their names were Tommy, Thomas, and Jerry, Jeremiah. They learned that losing fast hurt less than winning slow. That's how children do math when adults place bets. By 1894, both boys were gone. Officials wrote illness. Servants whispered that their bodies were hidden under the foundation before the house was expanded. Workers decades later claimed they found child-sized shackles rusted into beams. The reports disappeared within weeks. The house still stands. Its basement was sealed in 1919 with concrete. No permit ever explained. So, when you laugh at the chase on screen, remember the cartoon only flipped the truth. On paper, the mouse escapes. But in that parlor, under the smoke and the bats, Jeremiah never had a chance. Thomas always caught him, and the audience always applauded.
So KTLA News in LA reached out to the LAPD to get an update on the Celeste Rivas Hernandez / David case, and the LAPD basically responded back to them and let them know that their news release stands on its own to this day. Now remember, their news release was posted on September 29th, 2025, and it said, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office has not yet determined the cause or manner of Miss Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. So we're over a month into this and they still do not have any evidence to suggest another crime took place here aside from the concealing of a body. What about the inappropriate relationship between an adult and a child? Now, legal analyst Allison Treasel said that in the state of California, concealing an accidental death is only a misdemeanor. It's a violation of California Penal Code Section 152. And the maximum sentence that someone can receive for this offense is up to 1 year in county jail and a fine of up to $10,000. Now, at the moment, we do know that the medical examiner was not able to see any signs of foul play on Celeste's body according to their findings. Whether that's due to there not being foul play involved or due to the level of decomposition, we're not sure, but that is part of the reason why we are seeing such a delay here. And given the fact that there's so much weight being placed on this toxicology report, it makes me feel like maybe people are cooperating with authorities behind the scene, letting them know that Celeste did pass due to an accidental OD, and they're just waiting on the toxicology report to confirm that. At the moment, the LA County District Attorney's Office is still saying that the case has not landed on their desk for filing consideration. So essentially, authorities do not have enough evidence to present this case to a DA to bring about charges against anyone at this time. And if we're going off of just what the news release said, which the LAPD is saying still stands true, are they even looking into the inappropriate relationship that David was fostering with this child? Are they just skipping over that and just focusing on the fact that she died and was in the frunk of a Tesla? Do they think that it's just not even worth pursuing charges related to that because she's no longer alive and that would be hard to present to a DA and to the jury? I don't know. I just feel like the longer that time drags on, the more disappointed we're probably going to be when it comes to seeing justice prevail in this case. What do you guys think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Of course, I'm still following this case very closely. There really hasn't been much out recently. News stations are literally just regurgitating the same stuff that we've covered weeks ago. But as soon as there's any new updates, of course, I'll be sure to share with you guys, so make sure you're following me.
Yeah, I don't know. This story is getting a little too sketchy. I get everything takes time and they're probably just trying to build a solid case. The way they're moving about this seems a little bit too calm. Like, they just found somebody in this dude's trunk and he's still roaming free. This dude was literally playing Fortnite. Like, thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video made you tremble in your boots. And we're going to be on to the next one. Thank you.